Well, we find ourselves in the kitchen in northwest London of Victoria Coren, and we're having a lovely time. It's in the middle of the morning, having some cake and some tea, and we're going to have a chat. And my diet's gone to pot, Victoria. It's a lovely cake, but I'm not actually here for the cake, am I? Why am I here? Why are we seeing you?
What, do you remember that old advert about the priest who'd spent the night with a couple of women? They played out the old joke, why are you telling me, I'm telling everybody. So it's like that. I'm basically so excited about the upcoming UK IPT Nottingham. I'm literally pulling people in off the street and offering them cake if they'll let me talk about this amazing tournament.
Whilst I'm here, we may as well talk. So, expand, please.
Well, poker, in my opinion, was starting to get a little bit too professional. When I broke into the game, it was all about weird underground places and funny people in the middle of the night stumbling into card rooms because they had nowhere better to be. And it had all become a little bit mainstream, especially for me. I was just playing, I'd signed up with PokerStars, I was playing international tournaments for far too much money, and everyone was a pro. And they launched the UK and Ireland Poker Tour, which was supposed to be a sort of grassroots, smaller tour, where it cost a lot less to buy in, you could win your seat for free on PokerStars, it was local, it was at weekends, and I loved it, thinking, what a lovely, small thing this is, little local poker tournaments that, are a bit of fun. But it turned out millions of people wanted that, and it's now huge, to the extent that Nottingham, it's been running for a couple of years now, and this tournament, it's got £1 million in the prize pool. The idea of this was, you'd play for fun and you might win, 100 quid. But now there's £1 million in, and hundreds and hundreds of people playing. It's kind of a major sporting event. It
is, and you're right. I don't know how long it's taken, but it doesn't seem 5 minutes ago that poker was very much a bit of an underground card game, and now it's all over TV, it's all over the internet. It's big business, which of course is happy for you.
When I started playing, if people said, "Oh, what are you into? What are your hobbies?" and you said you played poker, they went, "Poker? What? That sort of thing where you wear a hat and carry a gun? Do you have to go to the Wild West?" They didn't even know what it was. Now, you say, "Well, now I play poker." They're, "Oh yes, no, yeah, I play that. My granny plays that. My neighbours play that. We have poker nights. Everyone plays." It's become a phenomenon.
Well, that's really interesting. Now, Victoria, daughter of Alan Coren, the late great Alan Coren, as far as I'm concerned. You've got this brother of yours as well, hasn't he? Does a bit of writing, does his TV stuff, and you do a lot of writing, do a lot of TV. It all kind of makes sense, and then this is where it goes a bit left field, because you are a major poker player. Now, how has that happened? It's not kind of in the script, really.
My brother says the only place where my weird life makes sense is on my website. He says you can't really explain to people. Well, she sort of writes columns and hosts quiz shows and plays poker. Does it make sense? And then my website with its various little pages, he says, okay, I just point people to that now when they ask what my sister does. I think it does make sense though, because it's really about a kind of endless quest not to be bored. And when I left school, I really didn't want to have the sort of predictable life I was meant to have. I started writing for newspapers when I was about 14. I used to send stories off to magazines under fake names because I was bored of school. So by the time I left school, I thought, I've been writing for ages, I need something new. I actually started doing stand-up comedy for a bit.
Did you?
I did.
How did that go?
It went all right. People laughed at some of the jokes, it was quite fun. And it was almost a precursor for poker, because that was similarly, it was a kind of alternative community. There were all these little underground clubs and people doing comedy all over London, and it was the dawn of some new thing, and comedy went really big. It was slightly too much like hard work, so I stopped doing that. But then discovered poker and thought, this is a very similar thing. It's all about secret places and little hidden communities and passwords, and I didn't have the vision to realise it was about to become the biggest thing in the world. And maybe I just got lucky. But to me it all makes sense that you're just trying to move forward all the time and have new adventures. And poker is, every time they deal the cards, it's a new adventure.
Now, you're pretty good. Tell me why you're pretty good.
Why? Well, obviously, it's a bit difficult to say. Look at poor old Samantha Brick. She tried to say she was quite pretty. The world's fallen on her. So if you try and say you're good at anything...
Well, let's put it another way. How is a good poker player good? What makes a good poker player?
Well, different players have different strengths. For me, I think it's all tied in with... I love reading detective stories and doing crosswords.
Okay.
So for me, it's about the puzzle solving. Other people are great at poker because they have brilliant mathematical brains. Others still are very aggressive, you know, metaphorically speaking. They like to bet and bluff very hard. For me, it's about unpicking riddles of any kind. So in a poker game, everything about a person, I mean, in a live game, you get to factor in how they speak, how they're sitting, how they're drinking their tea, everything. On the internet, it's all to do with betting patterns. But either way, it's the same. You're trying to unpick, what's this guy doing? How does this add up? What does it mean? He did that a minute ago, he's doing this now. Is he confident? Is he nervous? Is he trying to trick me? Is he trying to bully me? And that kind of constant narrative. It's a bit like watching a Sherlock Holmes.
And where do you get the answers? Do you get the answers by looking at the way they play, or do you get the answers by looking in his or her eyes?
It can be all manner of things. I feel a bit sorry for people who turn up to play poker in sunglasses. This is a popular thing now. People think, oh, if I just cover up my eyes, no one will know what I'm thinking.
Right.
Unfortunately for them, it's slightly more subtle than that, because you can tell by how much people bet. You know, you can watch someone play 10 hands, and you know from the amount they bet with different kinds of hands what they're likely to be doing.
Is that a bit of a no-no? If I sort of rocked up in Nottingham wearing sunglasses, would people look at me and go, ugh?
There'd be plenty of people there in sunglasses, so you wouldn't be alone.
Okay.
In fact, if you wanted to disappear in the crowd, I suggest sunglasses, iPod, maybe a kind of hooded top, some jeans.
Right.
There'd be a lot of you there.
Do you have a thing called a poker face?
I tend to go the other way,
Which is?
I usually, they say, you know, be completely impassive. I tend to talk so much and gesticulate such a lot. It's a bit like they can't see the wood for the trees.
Oh, I see.
Then again, I'm also trying to make a career in television.
Is that on purpose? Is that on purpose, Victoria, or is that just the way you are?
It's a combination of the two.
Okay. Now, there must be a few anecdotes, a few stories, a few scrapes you've had over the years playing poker. Can you perhaps provide us with one or two?
Now there's a question. Go on then, entertain us with an interesting anecdote.
I'm kind of thinking of poker. I mean, it's that old school image of sort of, you know, sort of the honky-tonk pianist stops playing and the guy gets accused of cheating and then they stand off and shoot each other. I know poker's moved on, but...
I don't really go to places like that. I remember once playing a poker tournament with Roger de Courcy and Nookie the Bear.
Did you? Who was the better of the two?
Well, you know, Roger really played the hands, but the Bear provided commentary.
Right.
This was quite interesting. It made me think all poker players should probably have some form of puppet.
Yes.
Because what would happen is Roger would play a hand and the Bear would go, you played that too aggressively.
Right.
Genuinely like two sides of his brain fighting it out.
And the bear would have had a great poker face.
Well, the Bear, I mean, you never knew what it was thinking. But it would sort of criticise the play of the hands. And I thought, because every poker player has that voice in their head, you know. Every player, while playing a hand, the voice in their head is going, are you playing this right? Did you do that wrong? Will you do that the same next time? He had it there in Bear form.
So, you know, what a great idea, Poker Stars, okay? A ventriloquist's poker competition.
Wouldn't that be great?
I mean, you just wouldn't be able to mind read anybody, would you?
It was just constant voices. You could have two puppets and, you know, maybe play the tournament by pressing pedals.
Yeah.
And it was just constant rabbit. You should raise it, you should fold. I'm actually going to call.
That would be fantastic. We'll go 50-50 on the patent of that idea, okay? It's a brilliant idea.
That'd be £1 each.
Okay, here's a question for you. If I took everything away from you except one thing, you could only do one thing in your life. No newspaper columns, no poker, no TV, or at least only one of those things.
Right.
Or indeed, eating cake.
Yeah.
What would be the one thing?
That I'd keep?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely poker.
Do the poker.
Definitely. I mean, I wrote a book about my life in poker a couple of years ago, and what I was trying to say, over, I hope, a series of hilarious anecdotes and gripping stories, is that poker keeps me going through all of it. It's partly that I love the game and it's challenging and exciting and keeps you kind of fresh and awake, but it's also kind of there at difficult times. It's something that when, you know, if you're sad because you've broken up with someone or angry about stuff or worried about things, it's this constant, it's like the bar in Cheers. You know, poker is a thing you can always go back to, and it's waiting and just to say, come hang out with us.
Probably got similar characters as well in the game, hanging out in the bar as well.
And there's a lot of Cliff the Postman's.
Alright, well, Victoria, it's been lovely spending a little time in your life, sitting here in your kitchen, eating cake, drinking tea. It's like 11's. Right, we should do this more often.
It is very like 11's.
There we go, because it's quite near 11, isn't it? So best of luck with the poker, best of luck with everything else as well, and hopefully we'll come again.
Thank you very much.
Je crois que la chose primordiale.